welcome to our Touch Base Thursday for May 7th. I'm excited to be going live with you guys again. It feels like I was just here in this same seat like yesterday, although it's been a week, going live with you guys with other projects. So I'm excited to be here with you all tonight. If you are joining me live, please go ahead and say hi. If you're on watching the replay, please go ahead and type replay. But do let me know that you are live with me so I'm able to get started in just a little bit. So we have hi Susan and hi Sonia. Pat, welcome ladies. Welcome to Touch Base Thursday. I have some really fun projects to share with you. I have 3 cards and a really cute little 3D project, and I can't wait to show you guys what I've made. But before we do that, we have some announcements and a few things that I wanted to mention to all of you. Hi Susie and Donna and Tammy. So if any of you are new watching me from a couple weeks ago, got my hair cut. Most of you know I told you that last week that Natalie cut my hair. And so today I actually styled it all up like I normally do. True thing, when I get up in the morning on Thursdays, I always say to my husband, I get to do my hair and I get to put on a little bit of makeup today because I have my Facebook Live. So Thursdays is the one day that we all kind of chuckle because it's the one day that I actually do something with myself as we're all still in our stay-home orders. So here in Michigan, we got extended through May 28th, but our governor is calling it more of a stay safer at home versus stay safe at home as she's slowly starting to open things up. So construction started back up last week. Manufacturing is going to be starting up over the next couple weeks. So I am sure that I will still be working from home at least through the end of the month. But it's going to be kind of awkward. I have a new boss starting on May 18th. The boss that I've had for 15 years finally is retiring after being at the university for 45 years. But I've only worked with him for the last 15 in the position that he was in. But we can't even say goodbye to him or give him a retirement party or anything. And so it's going to be kind of strange when I do go back to work that there'll be a new person sitting in his office. And in our office suite, it's just my boss and myself, and we have 1 student. But her last day was today until next fall. So it's just going to be strange when we do go back. But anyway, welcome everyone. Hi Jeanette and Kathy and Shireen. Nice to have you guys with me. So a few announcements about our family, I should say, before we kind of go into anything else. So my husband and I made the really tough decision that most of you know in the past years, my girls have taken pigs to our annual county fair. And we're not sure what the status is of the fair, but we've made the decision to not purchase pigs this year. It's a huge investment for them to then raise and show. I mean, like, if the fair was going on, it would be fine. They raise them, they sell them there, but without knowing what's going to happen, it's a huge investment to make, and we kind of explained it to them, and they understood, but they were really quite upset because they really enjoy raising those animals and having fun with them throughout the summer, and something for them to do. So, you know, we had to break the news to them that we weren't going to be doing our pigs for our 4-H project this year with them. So they were kind of bummed, and I said, okay, what can we do to make things better for you guys? So I told them that whenever I was feeling kind of down when I was their age, I would clean. Anyway, long story short, Claire's room is very organized. She cleaned it like I'm telling you she cleaned it. She moved her furniture around all by herself. I really thought that it was going to come down on top of me. Her room's right above me in the living room where I've been doing my work from home. So, hi Sandy and Janie. So anyway, I was really concerned that something was going on up there. Her room is cleaned. They cleaned out the bathroom. They officially moved Claire into the bathroom that Natalie used to use. Claire would use the bathroom on the first floor, not the one that's for the kids on the 2nd floor. But they cleaned out all the drawers, made room for Claire's stuff, and I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty awesome. And then they both got kind of a nice little piece of news that, this last week. So Natalie was able to, are you guys not able to hear me? Is that what you're telling me? I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be doing that. My microphone looks like it's on. Okay. On my phone it is anyway. So anyway, I'll transition my camera down, and I think hopefully it'll work better then. Because yeah, I don't know what what is different, you guys? So can you guys hear me okay right now, or should I try to stop and go different? I can stop and try to restart and see if that works. When I lean forward, it's louder. Okay, I'm gonna lean forward and then I'm gonna look into this when I'm done because I'm not sure what's going on. So we're gonna give it a shot real quick. But Natalie got nominated for the National Honor Society for her school. So she is going to be filling out the paperwork for that and has to get character letters and all that. So we're really excited. And then Claire found out that her orchestra piece was put onto her Google Classroom for her school orchestra as the piece that was the best for the week. So that kind of made her excited too. So anyway, they're still doing their online learning. And so far that's going okay. But it is challenging with all of us here at the same tables in the living room. But anyway, so that's pretty much what I have in the way of announcements. And yeah, I don't know, you guys. I will look into it for next time. I'm talking a little bit louder as well, but I will look into it and see what's going on if there's a setting on my phone, because it should be the microphone through my phone, and maybe I don't have that turned up as high as it should be. So I will, when I transition my camera down, I'm going to guess it's going to be okay. So I'll make it a point to check into that next time. So anyway, we have 2 winners for sharing my video from last week. And they are, the winner of the copper trim is Kathy Williams. So congratulations, Kathy. And I have that address, so I'll get that out. And then the other winner is Sherry Gibson. So Sherry, congratulations. Sherry, I think that you're new to my videos, so I will need your address if you can message it to me, okay? And then up for grabs this week. So you know the routine. If you guys share my video, you get put into the drawing. And I have 2 bolts of ribbon, one that is being retired. This is the Woven Threads trim. And I really like this one. It's really pretty. This is the one that I've showed in a video once before where you can cut the one end off and it will kind of fray. And the other one was out for Christmas. This is the Seaside Spray, like the glitter ribbon, but it's coming back in our new annual catalog. So I figured why not put that one out there for you guys to have an opportunity to get to win. So anyway, with that, I'm going to actually transition my camera down and we'll talk about the rest of the stuff a little bit. I'm thinking that it'll work better for you guys once I transition down. I can maybe look at my volume on my phone and make sure that it is okay. And then I'll talk to you guys about a few of Stampin' Up events that I have going on, and we'll get started with the stamping. So I'm going to transition my camera and I'll be back with you guys here in just a little bit. Okay. So what I chose to share with you guys today is some really awesome projects using so first of all, can you guys hear me better now? And I'm going to actually work on my volume here too. So hopefully you guys can hear me better now. If any of you a couple of you can comment, that would be great. So anyway, I am going to do the rest of my announcements from down here so that way you guys can hear me better, because I think that my issue, yeah. So I'll make sure it's better for you guys for next time. So anyway, you guys got a big sneak peek of my projects. But anyway, so a few more announcements while you guys are able to hear me better. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I'm going to be doing a quick little retirement party right here on my page. And I'm going to be showcasing some of the retired stamp sets and embellishments and things like that are going to be going away. And just to kind of give you an idea of some of the last chance things you can get, I'll have a few prizes to give away, that sort of thing. So nothing fancy. There'll be no stamping. I might showcase some old cards and things that I've made, that sort of thing. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that I'm going to be doing that tomorrow night. So if you can't watch me live, feel free to watch the replay later. And so this is a stamp set that I'm going to be showcasing. This is from the mini catalog. And I'm proud to say it's being carried over into our new annual catalog, which made me even more excited to be able to, oh good, you guys can hear me great, wonderful. So even more reason for me to be excited to showcase it for you guys, because these were the coordinating dies that came out as part of the celebration, the coordinating product release, if you remember that during celebration. And so these dies are also going to be carrying over into our new catalog, and there are dies here that cover or cut out a bunch of these different shapes. So you have one for this one, you have the one here for that, you have the butterfly. I mean, you have shapes for just about everything. And you can see here that I used a lot of them on my projects that I'm sharing with you guys today. Now, any $30 order that you place from now through Sunday night at 8 p.m., you will receive these projects for free. They will be completed projects. You'll receive them in the mail as a thank you for placing an order. So I just want to make sure I mentioned that. And then a couple other announcements, just so you guys are aware. My online bingo party is scheduled for May 20. I brought my calendar down because I've been known to say the wrong dates. May 20th. There is still time to RSVP for that if you haven't done so yet. And cost is $35. And in that $35, you're going to get 4 make and takes. They're really awesome make and takes. You're going to get your bingo cards for playing 6 games of bingo. The $35 includes shipping of any of the kits to our winners, all kinds of stuff. So I encourage you guys to sign up for that if you haven't done so yet. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we've already got a good handful of you that have signed up. So thank you guys. I cannot wait to play bingo with you. And then I'm going to be doing, our new Stampin' Up! Catalog came out, comes out for you guys to purchase from it on June 3rd. But if you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order from the catalog early. And I was able to pre-order a couple days ago, and I'm the crazy lady who does second day shipping, and it is sitting on my porch patiently, not so patiently, waiting for me to open it. Now, I wanted to let you guys know that I will be doing, and I will be posting these dates on my page, but on May 13th, I'll be doing a Stampin' Up! Calling it New Stuff Party. I'll be showcasing some of the new product sneak peeks through a Facebook Live. So if you want to see some of the sneak peeks, that's going to be the showcasing night of me showing you things. So it's May 13th at 7 p.m. So anyway, yeah, I'm so excited. So yeah, so these new dies will be in the new catalog. So the first card I'm going to share with you is this pretty one right here. So I will tell you guys something. I tried really hard to steer clear from pink this time. Not because you guys know I like pink, but I'm like, you know what? Most of you might like blues and greens and whatever. So I'm trying really hard to kind of steer away tonight from using pinks, and I wanted to showcase a couple of neat little techniques with you guys. So this very first card, I love it. It showcases one of the new embossing folders that will be available in the catalog. This is one of the products that you can purchase right now. This is the Ornate Garden embossing folder, and I love it because it embosses nice, pretty little flowers. And that is what I used on this. This is the pool party piece. Hope you guys can see that, the detail of that really good, because it's really, really nice. So these dies are not on pre-order. These dies will be available. I'm not sure if they're available during this month right now. They were part of the celebration coordination. I see a couple of you had questions. And I'll look into it, but if not, they will be available again beginning June 3rd. I meant to look it up and see if they were orderable during this month in between, and I forgot to, so I will do that for you guys. But I used Whisper White for my card base. This is your standard 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to fold that over. And then I cut my mat. Instead of doing my mat the normal 5.25 by 4, I did it 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down to my card using some snail. And again, I hope you guys can pick up the detail on that because it's so pretty. And I need to mute my computer. You guys all probably just heard that go off. And I don't think you want to hear my work email continue to go off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. So, and then I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this I cut 4x3. And this I just went ahead and adhered onto my card with some dimensionals this time. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. And a couple of these projects that you guys are going to be seeing tonight are projects that aren't like I wouldn't say my style. One of them in particular is not my style, but it might be your style, and that's kind of why I haven't showcased it in a while and why I decided to do it. So I'll make sure when I get to that card and I kind of hid it on you guys when I did the sneak peek on purpose because, you know, I wanted it to be kind of a surprise for you guys. So this you're just going to go ahead and center on there as well. And this is how awesome all of these pieces cut out. So in advance, I stamped, these are all again from that awesome stamp set. The Positive Thoughts is what it's called. So this is the stamped image for this one. And then I have the flower one right here, and then the butterfly one right here. So the colors that I chose to use for these 3 cards is I used Pool Party, I used Highland Heather, and I used Soft Seafoam. And Soft Seafoam is a color I have not used very much, and it is a very pretty light green. And I thought this card was very, very springy looking by doing it the way I did. Now, there's also in the dies, a die shape that cuts out this awesome little piece right here. And this is what I glued right here along the bottom just to add a little bit of color to it. And this is one of those things where you're going to probably want to use, like the liquid glue on it. But you guys know I cheat a little bit when I do my videos to save a little bit of time because I always share way too many projects, I feel like. This little flower I glued directly onto my card, and you'll notice that I do that quite a bit with some of my videos and my different cards and projects. So some of them I glue things directly down, and other ones I do the pop-up with the dimensionals. And so this is one that I'm going to do the pop-up with the dimensionals. And if you don't have the mini dimensionals laying around, you can, which I always forget to bring over here, you can use one of the little edges, which is what I'm going to do down here on the bottom. And I am just going to go ahead and take off these dimensionals. And this is going to just kind of go right over here. Look how pretty that is just by simple layering. And then I'm going to take one dimensional and I'm going to go ahead and stick that on the butterfly. Now again, these I just stamped these out and ran these through my embossed die cut machine. And then I have a piece of, this is the Hugs and Prayers, or the Hugs, Prayers, Love. I love that image because it's so appropriate for right now for sending simple thank you cards, or thinking of you cards. It is from the Positive Thoughts stamp set. And I'm just going to also take a dimensional and stick that on and put this down right here like that. And then I topped it off with some of the crinkle white ribbon, and I don't have a lot of it left, but I have enough left for one bow for tonight's project. And this ribbon I've loved, but it has been very staticky to use this winter. I'm not sure if any of you who have used this have noticed it, but it has become, it's a very staticky ribbon. And, but now it's not too bad because it's not as dry here in my basement and as it has been in previous months. So I'm going to go ahead, and all I'm doing is trimming off the tails here. Oops, I got that one a little bit too long, or too short. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit, make it a little bit shorter. It's always a way you can fix it, right? And then I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down with a glue dot onto the stem of that little fern greenery branch. Isn't that pretty? So nice. This would also make a really nice Mother's Day card if you wanted to change the sentiment out a little bit. Put, Happy Mother's Day in there from a different stamp set. You could also put a little rhinestone if you wanted to in the middle of the butterfly, but I chose to kind of keep it a little bit more on the simple side. But I love those colors, and I think it screams spring. So that is the first project that I wanted to share with all of you. The next card that I created, again, you guys are going to say, wow, because it's not Kim colors, but I loved them together. So this one I chose to use soft suede, and I paired it with So Saffron and Mint Macaron. And then I used some of the these little dies are also part of that set, as is this little solid one right here. And I made this one a Sending Positive Thoughts and Feel Good Wishes card. So let me find my supplies for that one here. Again, it's a pretty color combination, right? I mean, I really was trying to make things a little bit different than what you guys are used to probably seeing. I mean, there's still, I think, Kim style cards, just a little bit different colors. So this one is the soft suede piece, and this one is, again, your 5.5 by 8.5. I'm just going to go ahead and fold that. And then I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4. I'm dropping my pieces everywhere. 5 1/4 by 4 mat and a 5 by 3 3/4. Now this one I went ahead and I embossed with the tufted embossing folder. Most of you have seen that one before. I really like this one too. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere these two together and then adhere them down to my card base. And then I'm going to show you guys an awesome die that I probably overlooked when I should have been showing it to you guys when I was had the dies open. A really awesome die and what it looks like, because it's, again, kind of overlooked in the set. So let me bring the die cuts back in here. And it is this one right here. And hopefully you guys can see the little dot detail on the edge here. And when you run that through your Big Shot, you get this awesome little cutout with that great little edge around it. Isn't that awesome? Hope that you guys can see that okay here on camera. And it cuts out really simple, really, really good. I really thought it was a nice little touch. Had I known about that or remembered that was in there, I probably would have used it on the first card that I made for all of you guys, but it's all good. So this I'm just gonna go ahead and adhere down with some snail right directly onto the card. And I put this down here towards the bottom. And then I cut out and stamped a bunch of this stuff in advance, again, just to save me a little bit of time. So you're gonna see that I have here soft sea foam is what I used, petal pink, and then I used So Saffron, and I dropped one of my pieces, so bear with me here. And then I used this little cutout right here. Again, these are all from that die set. And then 2 little butterflies, and I have that on there crooked, and that's not gonna fly. So I'm picking it up. Who noticed that before I did? I'm sure someone had to have noticed that I had that on there crooked. Okay, there we go, much better. And so from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and start adhering things down. Now, all of these I did with some dimensionals because I just thought that, you know, I liked the pop-up look to it. And what I actually did on this one is I added a little bit of snail to the bottom because no one's going to see the bottom, and I didn't want, and I'll explain to you why I did that in just a minute because it'll be another little tip and trick for you guys. But I put snail here on the bottom, 2 dimensionals, whoops, so that when I adhere this down, this is just going to glue, that's going to dimensional up. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. What I didn't want to have, I'll explain it to you guys real quick. If I was to put dimensionals on this one, on this one, on this one, I would have all this bunched up down here. And with me putting a ribbon on there, a bow, I didn't want to bunch it all up. And so this is just kind of a little cheating way to keep it nice and flat down here, but to have the dimensional and the layer look that you want on the rest of the card. So there's a little tip and trick for you guys that I've learned. And a lot of these things are just things that I make up, so take it for what it's worth, you guys. But one time a couple times I did a card, it was just too bulky by having too many things that had dimensionals on them, and so this is what I did instead. So I see we have a few more people joining us, so hi to Diane and Nancy, welcome. Glad you guys are here with me tonight. So this one I'm just going to go ahead and put on like that. And then I have this one on with 1 dimensional. So you can see that one's going to bring the lift up that I need without needing or having too much down there, if that makes sense. And you could experiment with so many different colors of this card. You really could. Then I cut this little thing out right here. This is like a, you know, the little fern. And I'm just going to adhere that on with a couple of glue dots. Hopefully I don't rip it. So most of you have noticed I don't have nails right now. I chose to let it, I was going to do my own. And I did them once. And I'm like, I don't have the patience for this. Oops, and I just ripped it. But we're going to improvise. And I'm like, I don't have the patience to do this right now. So I'm letting my nails go and letting them breathe. And when I can go get them done again, I will. So that is where I'm at right now with my nails. So no nails, no nails. I know it's crazy, right? Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing with these little butterflies. Now these I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the center. Again, you may want to use a liquid glue. And these I'm just going to adhere down. A liquid glue would give you a little bit better, you know, better of a coverage. And then I have a piece of 3/4 inch by, I think it's 3 piece of cardstock. And I'm going to bring in my soft suede ink because that's the base of the card. And I'm going to stamp my greeting. And on this one, I used the Sending You Positive Thoughts and Feel Good Wishes. And I really like this one. Now let's see if I can get it straight on there. I'm still getting used to these reading glasses, you guys. All right, we're going to try it over because I didn't like it. So I'm trying to make sure I stay in view for you guys, and I can't get my head right on top of it. So what it is what it's going to be on this one. How's that? Woohoo! Good enough. Okay. And then this, I simply cut out a little banner out of the bottom with the scissors. So just a little one out. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, a couple other announcements as I'm sitting here thinking through my list, because I wanted to transition down, because I really think that my phone is not working for you guys when I'm on the other way, because I don't have the volume up enough. And I knew right now I'm closer to my phone that I use for videoing, so you guys are able to hear me. So that's why I was eager to get transitioned down. But my May classes, so my May card kit classes will post on this weekend. Okay, so don't think you've forgotten. If you like my my kits in the mail, you will still be able to receive them. They just I haven't posted them yet out there, but you'll be able to see them soon. And then so yeah, I talked about the catalog. Any of you that have purchased from me, and if you're not a current demonstrator, you will receive a catalog in the mail from me, directly from me, or from Stampin' Up. The middle of May, I do believe they start shipping. So hopefully in the next couple weeks. And if you're wondering if you're getting a catalog from me, let me know, because I've ordered some and having them shipped here. So if I didn't get your name and address included in my mailing selector, which is what we have to submit to Stampin' Up to get those catalogs sent to you from them, I will personally send you one when I get my supply, because I did order some as well. Okay, so if you're wondering, send me a private message or comment, and I will let you know. I did my best to include everybody, but I know there's times that I may forget, so I'll apologize in advance. I'm using this pretty pink, petal pink ribbon. This is not carrying over, it is retiring. I think I have 2 bolts of this left, and I'm keeping both of them so that I can use it in scrapbooking for my new granddaughter, Chloe, who is a little over 3 weeks old and thriving and doing well. So anyway, so that is my second card that I thought I would share with you guys tonight. Again, a really pretty color combination, not one you've probably seen me use before, but I really like how it turned out. I think it's really pretty. And I really like the die on that, how it gives that little edge. Sometimes those real simple little details really make a card come to life. And I feel that's the case on this card right here that I created. So anyway, that's card number 2. Okay, so card number 3. Should I do card number 3 or should I do my cute little project first? How about we do, because my card 3 is the one that is totally not my style, but it's somebody's style, and I had to make it and show you guys that it's kind of kind of cool. Let's do the project first. So this project is also another cute little project that you can make. Now this is like a little, I call it like a little Easter basket, but you could also put a handle on it. Now I did not put the handle on it, but if you wanted a handle on it, you would just simply cut a piece of cardstock, either a 3/4 inch strip or a 1 inch strip, and you would just adhere it inside of here like this and bring it over like that. So you could adhere a little, and I just chose white because it's what I had sitting here, but you could do a little handle on it if you wanted to, but I chose not to. And this designer series paper that I used is retiring. This is from the Perennial Essence pack, and this is the one side of it that's on the other side, and okay, so I did use pink. You guys. Okay. Anyway, but I want to share with you how I made this awesome little, this would be great for like little party favors for when we can finally all get together again, and you could put some little candy in there. They'd have to kind of dump it out, you know, so you want to do them individually for each person's place setting. And then I want to share with you how I made these awesome butterflies. You can see they're kind of two-tone different color. So I want to share with you how I made that, because it's kind of a nice, fun little technique and something that I encourage you guys to give a try, using different colors of ink as well. So the neat thing with this little basket, so you can make it in many different sizes. So I'm using a piece of 6x6 designer series paper, and I'm going to be scoring it at 2 inches on all 4 sides. So when you score it at 2 inches, you're going to have these score lines right here. Now, if you wanted to use a 12x12 piece of cardstock, you would then score it at 4. So you basically want to score it into thirds, if that makes sense. So since this is 6, I have 2 and 2. If it was 12, I would have score it 4, 4. So you'd have, 3-inch strips. So anyway, after you do that, what you're going to do is you're then going to fold on all of these sides. Okay, you're just going to fold. So after you fold, and I did this in advance a little bit so that I wouldn't struggle too much doing it live with you guys. So once you have it all scored, you're going to fold it one of the sides over. And what you're going to do is you're going to put now you could also score these from point to point if you wanted to with your Stampin' Trimmer. But what I did is I just put my bone folder here, and then I just folded this side over and made it kind of perpendicular, the same with this one, and folded it in. So can you guys see how I did that? And you're going to do that on all 4 sides. You just kind of hold this here, take this piece, bring it over, and make it even with that corner, and you just fold on the inside. So I did that on all 4 sides. You could also just use your finger if you wanted to, and use your finger as a guide and do the same thing. But that is what I did on all 4 of these sides. So nothing too fancy. If you struggle with that, you could then simply just put this piece of cardstock or designer paper in your trimmer and score from this point to this point on all of those 4 external sides. Okay, so you can kind of see that by doing that, it gives you this awesome little, you guys see where that's going to form together nicely? Then what you're going to do, now this is a retired punch from Stampin' Up, but they sell them other places, and most of you have been buying Stampin' Up stuff for a while, so you may even have this. This is the 1/8 inch little paper puncher, and what I did is at about 1/4 of an eighth, or about 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch from each end on the line. That one isn't quite on the line, but it'll work. You're going to punch a hole, okay? And what that allows you to do is it allows you to then string your ribbon through. So let me bring in my ribbon. We're going to get all this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to, whoops, bring this in. Oh, it would help if I did it the right way. I really know what I'm doing, you guys. I'm just a little, okay, so you kind of get it, right? So what you're going to do is you are going to string your ribbon through the holes. So I'm going to go in, let me cut this at an angle, because if you cut it at an angle, you're able to get it to go through there a little bit better. So it's a pretty sharp angle so that I can get it through these little tiny holes. So I'm just going to put it through the hole here. I'm going to bring it through, and it's going to fray a little. It's okay. And then I'm going to go through this one. Okay, you can kind of see how it's forming the basket. Then I'm going to go around through here, And I'm going to bring it up on this side, and I need to cut that off again because I'm really fraying the ribbon bad. So I'm going to go up through the other side. I'm going to pull that through, and then I'm going to go through this one right here. So there's really no adhesive needed other than I'm fraying my ribbon. So maybe a different ribbon of choice might have been a better option for me. And I'm doing it with the wrong hand is the other problem. I'm a lefty. There we go. Okay, and I have no nails, so I'm struggling with that whole getting used to the whole nail thing. So now we're just gonna go ahead and pull these kind of tight, and you can see that that forms my basket, right? And then all you're gonna do is tie this into a bow. So let me tie. I'm probably gonna have way too much ribbon, but that's okay. So I'm then gonna tie this in a bow. And again, you can kind of adjust those a little bit later. Just gonna tie a bow. And you can cut these off a little bit if you want. And you have this cute little basket. So simple, so easy, so cool, right? So now what I want to share with you, like I said, you can also, if you've joined me a little bit late, you could also put a handle on this. You would just put it on the inside from side to side like this. And I would adhere that with either like a, if you still have fast fuse left over, or like a tear and tape, but you want to put it on the inside, you could have a little basket then. So cute, right? So I'm going to share with you guys next how I did these awesome little butterflies, because I think that those are totally adorable. Now I did them in Very Vanilla, but I only have a piece of Whisper White scrap here. So I hope that you guys will bear with me on that. It's what I have here, so it's what I'm going to use. And I'm going to get my ink colors that I use. So the two ink colors that I use for this technique that I'm going to be sharing with you is Pool Party and Highland Heather. Now when you do this, you always want to ask yourself, what is the lighter color of the two? And so for me, the lighter color is Pool Party. So I am going to stamp my butterfly in to Pool Party. Oh, I'm glad you guys like the little basket. Yay! So I'm just going to stamp it into the Pool Party. Am I a little too high for you guys? I might be. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to get my Pool Party out of here for right now. And then I'm going to take a sponge, and most of you know that I use the same sponges over and over again. I just keep washing them. So this is a sponge. It's, even though it's stained red, it is clean. There's nothing, I'll show you, there's nothing coming out of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Highland Heather ink, and I'm going to ink this up. And I'm just going to take my sponge, and I'm going to sponge the edges of this butterfly. And then I'm going to also sponge right in the center, just a little dab. You'll see here a little dab, maybe two. And then you want to huff on this. So you're just going to kind of take the block by your mouth. You'll hear me go like that. And then you're going to stamp. And look at the pretty butterfly that you got from doing that. Isn't that awesome? And this is also a really good technique that you could do with flowers as well, to have flowers be different colors. And the only thing is you're going to want to clean it off in between, so that way if you were to make another one, you don't want to kind of put that purple back into your Pool Party ink. So I'm just using my chamois and I'm going to clean it off. We're going to make one more. Just so you guys can see the technique again, because it's kind of fun. I think it is anyway. I love it. Again, we're going to go into the Pool Party, and then I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to take my sponge, and I'm going to sponge into the Highland Heather, and I'm going to sponge the edge. Now this one, I'm only going to do the edge. I'm not going to do the center. Just going to do the edge. Huff it again. Stamp. So there you can see how it kind of makes it look a little bit different. So you got more of your blue in the center. That one here gives you more of a purple green hue to it. I like how it kind of mixes the colors too. So you got purple, green, and blue, depending on how much sponging you do on that. But isn't that cool? And then I just ran those through my Big Shot and with the die, and adhered those to the basket on an angle. Isn't that awesome? I love it. Love, 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 love that technique. So Kathy's asking, would you be able to roll the stamp too? Yes. So what she's asking is roll it like this way just to get the edges. I find that I get a little too much ink of the wrong color on my pad by doing it that way, which I feel like I'm able to minimize that by doing it the way I do it, which is the sponging. But yes, that would work as well. I just prefer to do the sponging instead. So anyway, hope you guys liked that little technique. And again, I showcased it with some little butterflies, but can you imagine the different color technique you could get if you had, if you were doing it with flowers? I mean, that's really a lot of different things you guys could do. Okay. So I saved the best card for last. Now I need to get my ink colors out. So first of all, how many of you out there love vintage? Now I like vintage to a degree, but I'm not a big vintage card maker. And this next card that I'm going to share with you screams vintage. And it's something that I saw someone post something on Facebook using a different set. And it made me think of the fact that I have not showcased a vintage card in quite a while. And sometimes when I am doing my Facebook Lives, I have a tendency to steer towards things that I like. And so I decided that, and I love this card, you guys. I'm not saying I don't like it when you see it, but I need to start focusing a little bit more. Again, we always learn from doing our own stuff, and we learn from others, right? So I have learned that I need to start focusing a little bit more on maybe some things that other people might like. So what do you guys think? This is my vintage card that we're going to make tonight. And I'm going to share with you how easy it is to make this card. I love it. I think it is perfect. Just the way it is perfect. If I do say so myself. I, again, just am not a big vintage card maker. So that is why I wanted to showcase this tonight and show you guys how easy it is to get a vintage card just by doing some sponging, okay? That's all I did. The only two colors of cardstock that I used on this card right here is Pretty Peacock and Very Vanilla. The rest of that is all done by sponging. Thanks, you guys. I'm so glad you guys like my card. Okay, so we're going to make this one. So I only have 4 projects tonight instead of 5 because I knew that it would take me a little bit more time to do some of these projects. And I didn't want to totally bore you guys forever. So anyway, we're going to get started making this card. I'm going to show you guys some really awesome techniques for doing some vintage things, okay? So we are going to start with Pretty Peacock as our card base. Why do I have 2 of them? I better make sure I have the right one. Yes, okay. So this is the 5.5 by 8.5, and this is the card base. And then I cut a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock, and this is cut 5 1/4 by 4. And then I ran this through the Big Shot with this tin looking, I forget the name of this exactly, die cut. And this one, I think if you're a vintage person, this is a must have. But I ran it through. You can see the image, the stamped image that I got on that. Very pretty, right? And then what I did is, let me bring in a sponge. Crumb Cake is the perfect ink for vintage. If you like a little bit of a darker color of vintage, you'd want to consider using the soft suede. Okay, but I chose to use Crumb Cake on mine to have it be a little bit softer. Oh, you guys like my card. I love that. I love your guys' comments. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my sponge into my Crumb Cake, and on the embossing side up, so this is the flatter side, this is where the embossed images are facing up. All I did was run my ink, or dipped my ink into Crumb Cake, and I'm just sponging on top of this, just enough to kind of bring it to life. Now, if you want it to be a little bit darker, I'm going to show you here. You're going to then sponge and apply pressure, a little bit darker. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm doing, and I want to make sure I get those ends. Now, normally I would put a piece of grid paper underneath of me, but this color is going to blend with my background, so I'm not too worried about it. I thought about it after the fact, and I went, oh, I'll be fine. So can you guys see how cool that is? I'm going to actually bring it up closer to the camera. I know I'm shaking really bad right now, so the whole camera is shaking, and I'm sorry. But let me show you guys. I'm going to bring it up. You can kind of see a close-up of the difference between regular and me sponging on top of that. And I'm just going to, sorry for the shakes, you guys. But again, I want to totally finish this card with you guys so you can see how easy it is to do. Now, if you wanted it a little bit darker, so this one I did do a tad bit darker, you're just going to run your ink and apply a little bit more. Just keep going until you get it to the color that you want. But I did want to make sure that I had full coverage on this all the way around. And especially on those sides, because the center no one's really going to see. So I probably wouldn't have had to have done the center, but I did it for you guys to be able to show you that you could do all of it and you'd have a really pretty background for a card. Isn't that gorgeous? Just like that. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere this down to my card using some snail. And you could also use other colors of cardstock with this. This would look really pretty if I actually wanted to use some of the darker browns and do it all browns, that would look really pretty as well. Then what I did is I cut out, using that awesome die that we all liked that I showed you earlier, I cut out the shape using the pretty peacock. And then I just figured out a size of a Very Vanilla that would fit inside of this. And I believe it was 2.5 by 4. I mean, there's a size that fits perfectly right inside of that. We're going to do some stamping and stuff on this first. So I'm going to put that to the side. And that I put on with some dimensionals. So what I did is I stamped this little fern in the crumb cake first. So I'm just going to stamp in the crumb cake, and I need to go to the side to do this because it's kind of what works best for me. And I stamped, and then I picked this up and I stamped again. I did not re-ink so that it gave me a little bit of a vintage look there. It's not all the same color. And then from there, I started applying my, oh, one thing I didn't do, you guys, that I should have done. So on this piece right here, I'm going to pick it up because I still can. Where did I put my, I'm not sure why I closed the crumb cake because I need the crumb cake for the entire time I'm doing this card. But the other thing I did is I also went around the edges. So this is called burnishing the edges. And it actually makes it look a little bit better on the edges there. So I forgot that step. And so you'll see once I glue it down that this really adds a lot to that. So I'm just inking around the edges with my, yes, it truly is. I'm looking at Philomena's comment about her question about, this is kind of similar to what they call the patina technique. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back to my little piece here. These are pieces that I've cut out with Very Vanilla cardstock using the Pretty Peacock ink, okay? But I'm gonna vintage these pieces up as well. So all I'm gonna do is add some Pool Party. I'm looking at my Pool Party ink pad. I'm gonna add some, the edges here using the crumb cake as well. It will bring out more of that pretty vintage look. So this card does take a little bit more time, but again, it's worth it if this is the look that you really like. And then I just ran this on top of here ever so lightly just to give it a little bit of look. You can see the difference here between doing that and not doing it with the butterfly. Okay, you can totally see the difference. And so now I'm going to do this with the butterfly as well. I'm just going to go around the edges. So if I chose to use that soft suede, it definitely would be just a little bit darker, okay? These I'm going to go ahead and adhere down with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So let me bring those back in, and I'm just going to put 2 on here. No, I am going to do the little end because I have a bow on it. So this one, you can see all of it, nothing's covered up. So that's why I wouldn't do the little technique that I showed you guys last time, but yeah. So I'm gonna put one here on the bottom. And going to adhere this. Oh, one more thing I did is I stamped the flower on this. So let me bring in my Pretty Peacock before I adhere that. I also stamped, let me switch out my block. So I stamped the flower into the Pretty Peacock. Let me make sure I get that inked really good. I have to re-ink this ink pad pretty quick. And I stamped this directly onto my piece like that. And then from there, I added this piece on like that. And then I added my butterfly to the top part, like this. So pretty. And then I have here a leaf. Now this leaf just cuts out with the die, so it's blank, and this is cut out using the Very Vanilla as well. And I'm just going to go back into my crumb cake ink, move my other one out of the way, and I did the same thing. I just inked this up really good around the edges, and then I just went a little bit down the center. Nope, I don't want to bend it. And then I adhered this on as well with a couple of dimensionals. So the secret here is everything is inked up with this crumb cake. So I'm even going to go around the edges of this, which I probably should have done before I put everything on, but that's okay. We're just going to do that now. So I'm just going to go around the edges of this one. And I'm going to go a little bit in here just to add a little bit of color. Like I said, it would have been probably easier if I'd have done this before, but it's all right. You can also do it after. Okay. Then I'm going to adhere this piece onto my, again, when you mat things, doesn't it just bring it to life? I think it does anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this onto here. It's going to fit perfectly. And then I adhered this entire piece onto my card using dimensionals. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 4 dimensionals, one on each corner here. Bring my sample back in that I've started. Isn't it pretty, you guys? I love it. Love it. And like I said, a technique that I know I've never shown you guys before because I don't think about it. I'm always, you know, bright, cheery, but this is so pretty and so many people love it. So anyway, then I have a piece of, where did it go? There it is. 3/4 inch. This is 3/4 inch, and I just made it extra long, and I'm going to cut it the size I need it. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment using I chose to use the crumb cake on this one. Now, if you wanted it to stand out more, you could also stamp it in this color, the Pretty Peacock, but I chose to stamp it in crumb cake. And that one says, let me find it here. Friends like you mean more every year. Make sure I get it on here straight because that's the last thing I want is to have it crooked. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it on here. So hard to see with my camera in the way. Okay, I'm moving it closer to me so I can stamp it straight. You guys get the gist of it, right? Yes. Because that is hard to do. Okay, so there's the stamped image. And then I'm just going to cut this down, and I probably could have cut it down beforehand to make it fit the right size. I just didn't. So you guys can see literally that I'm eyeballing this, right? I am not a perfectionist when it comes to stamping. So I eyeball sometimes, and it works pretty dang good. So I'm just trimming this up so it's nice and straight. And I think it's going to fit here perfectly. It's going to go over just a smudge, which is what I wanted this one. This one does too. You can see that right here on the bottom. And I'm going to ink this up as well with my crumb cake ink. So quick, so simple, so easy. And then I'm just going to kind of go on top of it very lightly. It just takes off some of the starkness of the Very Vanilla. And I'm going to adhere this with a couple of dimensionals as well. And you guys have a beautiful vintage card. Telling you, not having nails. It's been about a week already, and I'm struggling, but getting used to it. Okay, there you have a very pretty card. I topped it off then with a double knot using our linen thread. And I know if those of you watch me, you've seen me do a double knot or double bow many times, but I basically just cut my linen thread. I cut it into 2 pieces. I line them up and oh, that's the same one. There we go. So I have 2 pieces and I like to kind of straighten it a little bit with my hands like this. And then I'm just going to tie it in a bow like that. I'll make that one a little bit shorter. And you're just going to trim off these tails. And then I'm going to adhere that with a glue dot right onto that card, like that. And I have one that's a little bit longer than the others, so I'm going to trim it just a smudge. Sometimes this linen thread drives me crazy because it's not the way it's on the roll. You have to really kind of play with it some. All right, so there we have it. So yeah, there are my projects for you guys tonight. I hope that you really enjoyed them. Like I said, this one was my big wow for you guys tonight because it is not something that I have done in the past with you guys. I haven't done a lot of vintage stuff. And let me bring in my other cards as well so that you can see them again for any of you that may be joining me a little bit late. We made this beautiful card right here. And then finally we made this little card right here. And I showcased how to make these fun little baskets. I'll put the measurements and things for these baskets on my the description of this video, so you'll have it. And then I also showed you guys how to do the sponging technique to get different colors of ink onto your stamps for a different fun little technique with different colors. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my cards and my projects that I shared with you guys tonight. Now again, if you're interested in receiving all of these in the mail, this one would come, I wouldn't be able to send it to you already all assembled, but if you're interested in receiving these in the mail, you simply put in a $30 order with me from now through Sunday night, and you'll receive all of these already done, finished projects for you to be able to send out to people or for you to keep for yourself if you like them or anything like that. So thank you all so very much for stopping tonight and sharing your evening with me. I will tell you that next week I will be showcasing the By the Dock stamp set and coordinating dies that are in our mini catalog. They're great for making Father's Day cards and things like that. So I will definitely have some great cards and projects for you guys next week as well. So thanks everyone. I hope that you consider joining me back here tomorrow night for it won't be a long Facebook Live, but I'm going to kind of highlight some of the retiring products so that you're able to see them. Because sometimes it's hard to be able to tell what's going to be going away. So if there's any last minute things that you guys want, you can feel free to get them ordered. And then the following week, I think it's on Tuesday or Wednesday, I will be showcasing some sneak peek of new product. So thanks everyone. Have a great evening, a wonderful weekend, and I really appreciate you all spending your Thursday evenings with me. Talk to you soon. Bye.